Hello visitor internets and welcome to this video where I will be attempting to time trial a few automation cars as a kind of change from time trialing the regular cars. I'll be doing automation vehicles this time round. Here we have the, I think it's TAIF, is it? Cub even, and it is essentially a first generation Fiat Panda. But it should be interesting. It has about 40 horsepower, but it weighs, I think, under 700 kilograms. So it does get moving decently well despite having no power. Anyway, without further ado, I do need to find a way to start this. And then I need to also turn my lights off. There we go. As I say, I've been trying to get something sorted here, which part of it was my computer recording in under 24 frames per second, not good. And we're understeering nastily here, but we've just about pulled it through. The handling isn't too bad. It does have leaf springs on the back, I should say that now. So, maybe not the most sophisticated vehicle in the world. And yes, it's front wheel drive with leaf springs on the back. Very unusual. Come on, I found a gear. Anyway, the point of this was I've done a lot of time trialing the regular BeamNG cars, so given how good the automation cars have got, with a lot of them having interiors, even if you can't even use them, people have improved a lot at making them since the export feature first came out. So I decided, you know, I might as well give this kind of time trial a try, and I can also have my automation cars in the same circuit, which will provide all the better a canvas, should I say. Ooh dear, hit the front quite hard there, but it feels fine. These automation cars are quite hardy, so little bumps and stuff that may take out the wheel axles on a Pessima or a Covet won't on these. Although they may still bend wheels. Oh dear. Come on, jump. There we go. Yes, I've got a lovely flow of speed round here. But I'm going to have to shift down to second because I don't have the power to carry third. Oh, almost hit the fence there. I need to be careful. It does handle though well. Very well actually. For what it is. As I say, leaf springs on the back. This is completely bare bones, but it's still going, and it's going quite well. I think I can hold third out. It's going to only get faster up here. I'm able to use a surprising number of gears. I'm not sure how many it's got. It's either 4 or 5. Probably 4 given how bare bones it is. It was made from the 1980s to the 2000s, so quite a long production run here. And that is coincidentally when the Fiat Panda was made. So go figure. I can see similarities, that's for sure. Second gear. It does feel like it takes a long time to shift, and I don't think that's necessarily true. I think it's just the case of the car itself is slower, so you kind of feel every shift that it makes. We're only on lap 3. It's saying a decent enough time, I think, for what it is, which is just our introduction vehicle. I did try some BeamNG cars around here before, but that was what I was saying before. My PC decided to record it at less than 24 frames per second and hideously low bit rate, so it was just not worth watching. But I messed with the settings and kind of fixed things. I'm yet to beat that 57-second time, but it looks like I've got a good run through here. Keeping it in second. I may be hitting the limiter, but that's fine, because it's better than having to shift down at an important point. It seems just barely bouncing off the limiter, and this isn't the worst thing that could happen. If I can keep it overall in second gear, that seems like the most useful gear around this circuit, in this car in particular. Ooh, we got a 55. That's a nice improvement, and we've still got a lap to improve on that. We've got a good run into this lap as well. Slow it down, try and get a good early dig into that corner, and I thought I'd shifted down earlier than I had. Either was in 4th or I just didn't shift down and I thought I had. We're in 3rd now. Time to cut across here. No! My cheaty cut across method didn't work. Come on. Turn, mighty not Fiat. I think I might have damaged the steering. It's veering to the left. I'm surprised it's still got steering though after that. Even being an automation car, I put it through a lot. It's clear this isn't going to be my fastest lap, so let's just see. Oh, one of the rear wheels has actually bent up. The front wheels are fine. I did not expect that. But hey, they're all attached and functioning, and I did get a very good 4th lap, so I'm not too displeased with that one. And here, finally spawned in the correct colour, I have the only Chevelle replica I could find. It doesn't seem too bad. It appears to have a unitary chassis instead of the X-frame, but otherwise we do have a pushrod engine making over 400 horsepower, live coil on the back, and double wishbone on the front, which seems pretty accurate. I have to reset it to get the correct starting procedure. Yeah, as I say, wouldn't be a rev limiter on one of these in reality. That is definitely a thing because it came from automation, but still. You know, we've got to see how this does. It's basically the opposite of the TAIF, was it? Looks like I missed a checkpoint. And I'm kind of stuck because of the open differential. Yeah, it's finally got that checkpoint. I feared I hadn't and I would have to go back yet again. Anyway, the first lap's rarely the quickest, so... well, being slower here is fine. I just don't want to wreck the car, honestly. Like you saw there, we've got so much power that I'm not used to. It's going okay so far. As I say, the automation vehicles are fairly hardy, so a bit of a smash on one of the front wheels is far less likely to cause damage. The TAIF, I couldn't damage the front wheels, as hard as I obviously tried, because it only managed to bend up a rear wheel. Come on. That did have leaf springs though, which I believe are a bit hardier than the coil springs on this, but theoretically less refined, although this does feel a bit bouncier. It's probably because of the speeds that it's capable of. That car though, I feel I was able to get a hold of the power more easily, because this power in this vehicle, there's so much of it, I don't know quite what to do with it. There's probably not even tyres on it that are that wide if they've properly replicated the older Chevelle. So that's something to bear in mind. These had 450 horsepower back in the day. Obviously the power measurements over time did change, and it's not real horsepower, so the measurement in reality will be a bit lower than that, but you know, things go how they go. We are quicker than that TAIF, which I guess proves something. Feeling quicker doesn't necessarily mean you're going quicker. Oh dear. No, I made it out there okay. It felt very terrible. Especially if I hit the fence, it would have been even worse than it was, but oh dear. Somehow we're still on our wheels. I feel like this could still be a quick lap. It feels terrible, but at the same time, like it could still come out of it and get a good lap. It's just, I don't think it's going to be my quickest. As I'm getting used to the vehicle, I'm getting used to what I can and can't get away with. Now, double wishbone is good here, and especially if the TAIF had McPherson strut on the front, then we will also have better front suspension as well as rear suspension, which is not something you'd normally say about a 70s muscle car. However, in this case, I may be saying exactly that. Unfortunately, rear-wheel drive is less predictable than front-wheel drive, even if it puts the power down better. Even if that tends to be the case, rear-wheel drive is always going to be less predictable unless you're dealing with so little power that you know, you'll always have more tyre grip. Oh dear. Bounce. And we've somehow, I would say, come out of it, but we haven't. Right. I'm going to have to aim to get a good 5th lap, unfortunately. I think I'm just being too reckless on that section back there with the rocks. If it doesn't destroy the car, it's going to destroy the lap time. That's the trouble with it. So I need to be wary of that. The gearing is actually surprisingly correlative of that. What was it? Not phase. I forget this name now. It's already leaving my mind. So much information flowing through. But it had a surprisingly similar amount of gearing for each horsepower, it seems, because I'm generally keeping it in the same gears I would have kept that in. Even though it's a vehicle with so much more power. Ooh, slow it down here. I lost a bit there. I don't know what it was, but something fell off. Hopefully not something important. You see here, I'm having a nice controlled power slide around that corner. That should make me quick. Oh dear. Suddenly gripped, and I didn't quite expect it, even though I should have, because I was going on tarmac from on dirt. And round here we go. And power ahead. Across the line, 52.881. That is a quick time. So, here we have another interesting vehicle. This has over 500 horsepower. It is the Audi R8 V10. Yeah, so about 100 horsepower more than the Chevelle here, give or take. And an extra set of cylinders. It also has an extra set of driven wheels, though. So despite the low ride height, I don't imagine this will be too bad. Turned ESC off, so we've not got to worry about that. I actually did something in a fairly competent way for once in my life. I think we also have rider tyres and independent suspension. This will have the best suspension technology of all of the vehicles so far. Because, well, it's a modern supercar. So, you know, they can't afford to put down all that power and not have four-corner independent suspension. Unless, I don't know, unless it's push rod and that's not considered independent. But you get my drift. It's going to be good wherever it is. Slow into here and then try giving it a bit of boost, but not too much. I say boost, there's no turbo. A bit of engine power, let's say. It feels quick, and it feels like if I get on this properly, it can be incredibly, incredibly fast, but I just have to know where to go. I don't want to go too fast, so slow over this hill so it doesn't have a nasty, nasty fly and smash itself to pieces. Ooh, we've already set a 51. This is quick, and that was on the first lap, which was a bit of a bad lap anyway, because I didn't quite know what to do to control this. Oh, come on. Almost doing a controlled slide I was doing in the Chevelle there, but it's all-wheel drive, so it doesn't want to do controlled slides. I still take this over a rear-engined high-performance bolide, though, because that car has all of that 450-plus horsepower going to the back, and it's just a bit much, really. It can be difficult, especially over loose surfaces. Slow it. Oh, dear. I probably slowed it a bit late there, but I'm still just about in time to make this corner. You see, this is definitely quick. I'm not going to deny that. Slow it here. Yes, I braked about the right point there. The low ride height is working favours there, because I was able to make it over that jump since it wasn't too high off the ground. And there we go, powering along. Ooh, got to make it round here without hitting anything. That would be especially a priority here. Why did I say that? I very almost cursed myself with those rocks. Probably don't need it in fourth, but I'm going to leave it there and just let the engine catch up with me. And then I slow down for this corner. Yes, very nice and very smooth over there. I would say even smoother than it was before. I mean, it took a lot to get a sub 50-second time before with the BeamNG cars I was using, and then I realised, hey, I've completely messed up how to record this. Now we're doing it on our third vehicle. I don't think I'm going to beat this today. I have to say, this is just so quick. It feels like an actual rally car even. I'll go as far as saying that. I know it obviously isn't, it's an all-wheel drive supercar, but it feels like a rally car, and we have set a sub 50-second time, but it's difficult to keep this under control when you're trying to go as fast as I am. So, yes, I don't think I'm going to beat that time now. I got out of it surprisingly easy though, given I had a supercar on some quite nasty rocks there. Oh dear. See, that's what I was saying about hitting things. Surprisingly, my alignment doesn't look bad. My alignment still looks perfectly fine. Along we go. Oh dear. It was worth an experiment there to see if I could drift it. Apparently not. So, here we have what's probably one of the best automation replicas, or even best Russian mods that I've ever seen. It is the Mercedes C350 automatic all-wheel drive, 4Motion I think they call the all-wheel drive system. Yeah, it even has an interior, so I say we might as well use it. Just have to reset it. We have a working sunroof as well, if I just show you. Well, not working, but usable, because you can see through it. Turn that off. It is an automatic, although it may have some manual shifting mode. I'm just going to leave it auto for now. Mercedes basically make the best transmissions as autos, and it does seem quite smooth. I mean, I'll note that. We're putting out about 250 horsepower to, as I say, the all-four wheels, and it is very soft, but that is a good thing here, because we're kind of tackling a dirt circuit. It's even better than that Audi in terms of its suspension setup. Yes, it may be a bit wibbly-wobbly around some corners, but oh, I don't think I damaged anything there, but I was pushing quite hard, and I just about would have managed to save it there from demolishing something. It felt like it just nicked my rear left wheel. Again, not enough to cause damage, but enough to cause a bit of a disruption and knock me out of control. Alright, so I can slow here. The Audi was quicker. I'm not going to deny that, and I'm sure I won't beat that overall, but this will still set a very quick time. I can feel it. It's just so easy and so forgiving. See, even there, I was definitely braking too late, but because of how the cornering is, I was still able to get wheels on the ground and kind of regain control. Going a bit wide here, but it's okay. It understeers a bit, but not too much. It just about understeers. I'm really liking the handling of this, I must say. And then we power through there. Now, as far as longevity goes, I actually get the feeling the Audi will be more reliable, because this was the era when Mercedes rusted for fun. Basically, it was their favourite weekend activity, rusting. They've got better since then, but, you know, it was something like 95 to 2005, around about that era. Mercedes just rusted. Very, very easily. And just hook our wheels there. Oh dear. We do have all-wheel drive, which helps. It's not front-wheel drive. That came very close to being a bad accident, but it wasn't. I daren't look at the time because I'm focusing on driving. Yeah, as I say, it's quite obviously not got the same level of grip as that Audi. And it's quite obviously not got the same level of power as that Audi, but it is still a good challenger for our leaderboard. 250 horsepower, remember, it's not the most in the world, but it certainly isn't to be sniffed at. It's a good amount. The dirt slowed me down there more than I was expecting it to. Ooh. I definitely saw in the 50s, so we're not entirely hopeless, but I couldn't really make out more. I just glanced at what I could of the leaderboard. I'm always feeling like I'm braking too late there, but I'm getting away with it. Ooh, lovely. Almost like that lovely controlled slide I had in the Chevelle. That was a very, very good controlled corner. Slow it down here. And along we go. Okay, so that was a bit of lag. We're on lap 5 now. I hope I can make up for that. I saw a 51 though in all of that mess, so we're going quick. Right, I'm flooring it now. I know it's going wide, but I'm just hoping I can recover that. And again, flooring it, brake just at the crest of this hill. Yes, lovely round there. Getting it into a bit of a slide. You couldn't get the Audi R8 into a slide, but you can with this. I'm noticing that. And this, even when it's bouncing, there's so much controllability here. Just try and get the steering inputs right there. Oh, it won't be very comfortable with me driving it in such a way, but it will go quick when me driving it in such a way. Yeah. So what, that crazy laggy lap, and lap 4 was my quickest. Still a sub 50-second time from this. Not bad. So, here I have another hatchback, and this is a Mark II Golf GTI. Now, the reason I've used this, or the reason I'm going to use this, besides wanting the game to lag in the middle of driving the last car, is actually getting a more advanced car from about the same era as the TAFE, was it? To see how it does. This has 135 horsepower from what I believe to be a full aluminium engine, and it's obviously going to be heavier as well. But we have torsion beam on the back, not leaf springs. Again, this should all play together on its side. As I say, we're outputting more than 3 times the power. This is not the same level of power as that Mercedes, or the Audi, or the Chevelle. It's the second least powerful vehicle, but it could still show potential, because I did like the way that front-wheel drive handled on that TAFE, Fiat, whatever it really was called. I did like the handling. This doesn't feel quite as nice. I think it's because it's heavier. I think what I really liked about that was, despite the simplicity, it was a very light vehicle, and that I can always appreciate in a rally car. It just makes them so easy to throw at corners. The cornering balance of this is actually worse, but when you do get round the corners, I say it's worse. It feels for initial turning it's worse. Around corners overall it feels about the same, but it takes a bit more effort to get it initially turned in. However, once it's going, we have that extra power going through those front wheels, so it's always going to play to its side. Oh, we're on 2 wheels there. Slow it down. Oh, you're rolling already. The Mercedes was a lot easier. Granted, that was the Mercedes. Oh, have I damaged it? It looks like I've damaged it. And I'm on the wrong camera view to tip it over again. Come on. Over you go. Right, am I heading the right way? No, I'm heading in the exact opposite of the right way. I've lost both my mirrors as well. That is not good. Not the fun times. We do have our exhaust pipe still though, so, you know, some things are going right for me. I need to remember it's not as forgiving as that Mercedes, it just isn't. Whatever the suspension was on that Mercedes is sure better than this. But this goes a remarkable way to proving that speed isn't everything. Because this is obviously gonna set a quicker time than that first hatch, but that car was fun in a way this just can't be. It had less technology, but it was still fun. This is veering to the left. It's surprisingly the least hardy automation car I've had today. They've all been pretty hardy, but this one, a bit weaker really. And speed. Slow it down into this corner. Power out of it. The second lap on this is just atrocious because I walled it. I think that first fierce thingy though, that had rolled, yes, but I believe it got back onto its wheels. This needed a lot of assistance to get going again. Oh dear, I'm surprised I came out of that as well as I did, heading for the fence like that. Oh dear, something's wrong with the front left wheel though. Or suspension, or something in that corner of the car. See, now I've got out of this just fine. This vehicle is not as nice to drive though. And I say that I am absolutely thrashing it over here, to be fair. But it just doesn't feel like it's set up in quite the same way. Naturally, it feels like this car is supposed to be sold more by the power and the fact the engine is aluminium. Okay. Well, that was unexpected. Since that has happened, wow. There's a spring then. That wheel must have just been hung on. I'll give it another 2 laps because with what's gone on, I couldn't have helped this lap smashing the car, really. So, there we go. I'll go until lap 2 and then I'll finish up. Right, we've got a healthier car now. That might help it now. I'm not going to be driving a broken thing. In a way, it's only fair because the other cars didn't get badly broken or anything to the point they weren't really driving well anymore. Feels like now it's fixed. It's actually more capable. I just have to bear in mind this is not all that brilliant. The Mercedes was. The Audi was brilliant. I kind of got used to cars that were so amazing, and then cars which have issues like this does, I didn't know what to make of them. Okay, we've set a 54, and can we beat that? That's, as it stands, that's quite good, but you know, maybe we can go quicker still. We're going out wide. Almost had a wheel on the dirt, but that's okay. Third gear, keep it in third, keep the revs up. Slow it, and it dove to the inside, which then made it dive to the outside because I was trying not to cut the curb too much and wreck the vehicle. Come on, find your traction. This still doesn't feel too slow though. Yes, I'm making my mistakes driving it. And yes, the car isn't quite responding as I would ideally like it to, but things could have gone a lot worse. Tried cutting in early here, and then it would give me more time to accelerate, and 51.6, that's a pretty good time. So, that isn't our final lap. But it is. Strange contradiction there. Anyway, we also have a magically good condition car. Still, I think that's a fair enough time for this vehicle, what it's capable of and everything. It is quicker than other vehicles I've had, but without saying too much, it's time to move on. And here we have a GMC Cyclone. Yes, a twin-turbo V6 super truck, essentially. It has 280 horsepower and rear-wheel drive. So, you know, we should, if we just reset this, get ready and have a good run. It's a 4-speed auto, I believe. which is, if you want to build an extremely quick vehicle, a bit of an odd choice. It does the job. What more can I say? I think it was really more GMC's kind of technological showcase than anything. We have the, oh dear. Let's retry that, shall we? As I was saying, there's also the GMC Typhoon, which is kind of the SUV crossover type thing version of it. However, this is a pickup truck that everyone knows about, so I decided I would use this. Anyway, there is quite good cornering from this, although the suspension I would say isn't as good as the Mercedes. I think a part of that has to do with that. The Mercedes is a simpler saloon body, which is generally leaning itself more towards good weight balance than a pickup truck body. At least the one of these in Forza, if they're the real specs of it, and they've not messed up somehow, the weight balance is very front bias. The all-wheel drive helps with that over if it was rear-wheel drive, because there is that Satsuma pickup truck in Beam, if you install it, and that's got horrendous handling from a pickup, because there's just no weight there whatsoever. So all-wheel drive is going to help massively there, as well as the fact we're driving on dirt for a lot of this circuit, so the all-wheel drive will help there. It doesn't understeer too much. I'm being surprised by all-wheel drive in this game in that respect. If it does understeer, it's usually because I've lifted off. Under power, it can actually sort itself out quite well. Now, I don't know why this doesn't have leaf springs on the back. Or coil even. I'm not sure how accurate that is, but it's not showing as having leaves or coil live axle on the back. We did a two-wheeled moment there, like I think the Golf did actually. There we go. Good run through there, but not perfect, far from it. However, we could have lost a lot more speed than we did. Slow into here, accelerate and let the truck correct itself. There we go. Slow on the inside, hold the outside line there, and then floor it across here. I get the feeling this could be very quick. How quick, I don't know. It does have 280 horsepower, so it's more powerful than the Mercedes. I think it's just a heavier vehicle, possibly. It's possibly lighter, but just doesn't quite put the power down as well, even. Because remember, this is a much older vehicle. I say much older. It's, I would say, at least 10 years older in chassis year. So, it has that on its side. Ooh, we've set a 49. I believe, if I'm not wrong, that's similar to what the Mercedes set. And we'll slow it down here, accelerate. We're on lap 4, I think. Oh dear, we pushed that a bit too wide, but I know that for next time now. The next lap is probably the better way of putting it. And we're going to jump, but brake just before we leave the ground. Oh, really? I did get that checkpoint, but I think it was just a case of too little too late. Unfortunately. Oh. Well, I made it over there in a surprisingly quick way. I didn't think that would work out, but it did. Come on, drift. Drift the truck. That worked. Again, not as well as I would have hoped, but it did somewhat work. To the inside. Oh dear. I didn't want to go too much to the inside and miss the checkpoint, and that hurt. Yeah, third lap was probably the best. So I think we have beat the C-Class. But let's check the leaderboard just to make sure. Okay, so here we have our leaderboard, and it has a Mark 1 Audi R8 sitting at the top. Quite unsurprisingly though, it's quite a modern car, and it's got a lot of power and all-wheel drive. Didn't ride too badly over the bumps either, might I add. So, all in all, a very deserving first place. The GMC Cyclone did well, but it's quite clear it's an older vehicle and a pickup truck at that, since it did not come that close. I'd say still about 2.5 seconds down, there or thereabouts. And the Mercedes? Well, it's within a second of it, yes, but it just doesn't quite have the power of the GMC. The GMC, considering it has only 4 gears, it really did well. The Mercedes, I don't know how many gears it had, probably 5 or 6, and it's still just 250 horsepower. It's not quite enough to compete with the 280 or so of the GMC. The Mark II Volkswagen, though, speaking of power, yes, it's below the Mercedes, but it's over 100 horsepower down at about 140 horsepower, and it only has 2 driven wheels. It's the first front-wheel drive on our leaderboard here, whereas all the 3 vehicles that are above it are all-wheel drive, so it's doing quite well for a vehicle of its age and of its power level. The Chevelle is a lot more disappointing, but we have to remember it's an old vehicle. It's still a 53-second time from a 70s car. How will other American vehicles compare? I really don't know. I mean, I know the Cyclone is American, but it's all-wheel drive, so it's kind of different from a rear-wheel drive American car. And the Chevelle is also simpler. I believe it had live axle coil on the back, which is much simpler than whatever the Cyclone was using. The TAFE Cub, leaf springs on the back, front wheel drive and virtually no power, but very much fun to drive, and I don't think it's going to be the slowest for the longest time. It's set at 55.1 time here, yes, but I can definitely see improvement over other vehicles where they just don't take corners, because that car had no power but it cornered very well. So with that all being said and done, there's nothing more to build upon. So I'm going to leave it here for today and say goodbye until another day.